Hi there. This news took me by surprise that House of the Dragon just had its big wrap party this past Saturday, June 18th. We thought they already had a wrap party for when filming ended back in the middle of February. And what I guess this means is this was the wrap for the entire post-production crew. All of the video editors, sound editors, color grading, all the stuff that goes into that. Probably not the digital effects, though. That work goes all the way to when they start. That's always the last thing that gets finished. But in terms of the post-production stuff dealing with rough cuts, I think that means they just finished. That February must have been a smaller cast wrap party for filming finishing up. And it might not have been that big because of the COVID spike from Omicron variant, that maybe they couldn't have a big one. Also lines up that last week George R. R. Martin said that he had seen 9 out of 10 episode rough cuts, so we knew they were approaching the end of the post-production phase. So I don't need to prove this is a big wrap party or something. The cast was posting a lot of pictures and videos of it on Instagram. That this was a whole auditorium, that they had fire jugglers, they had these big screens. This was one of those huge parties, not a get-together, where it's an official thing that HBO gives for all of the cast and crew. That at first I thought, well, maybe it's a thing for the crew, the cast might be going to other things. No, this is officially the wrap party. A lot of major cast members were there. Steve Toussaint was there, who plays Corlys Velaryon. Harry Collette was there, who plays the grown-up version of Jake Velaryon. Everyone was at this wrap party. Now, this implies two things. First, I really hope it means that a trailer is imminent. The full trailer, not a teaser. I mean, a really big thing with all this footage. A lot of the footage is done and ready to show. I mean, not just that they filmed it, but the color grading, the sound editing, all of that stuff. Ready to use in promos. I said in my last video that maybe we'll get a trailer this weekend because of all the Jon Snow rumors and stuff, ignoring that the Jon Snow thing the Jon Snow sequel rumors might have been to try to build up buzz for this. That's a theory I had. Assuming that isn't true, just in isolation. Turns out I was wrong, because I said it lines up because this past weekend is the 2 months out from the premiere date. I was wrong. This last weekend was 9 weeks out from premiere date. This coming weekend will be exactly 2 months, 2 months worth of Sundays before the premiere. Today itself is actually exactly 60 days, but this coming weekend is 2 months in a countdown. On top of that, this coming weekend, Sunday the 26th, is the giant premiere of Westworld Season 4. So would they put out a trailer with, hey, it's a one-shot Time Traveler's Wife adaptation, or, if they're going to try to tie in a trailer with something big, the last real opportunity is Westworld's premiere. Granted, I've been saying this ever since the fall, and people didn't get that I'm guessing, and I think they were educated guesses that, maybe they'll put out a trailer during the Succession Season 3 premiere. I was wrong, but I don't think I was wrong to go, we should, be checking in frequently in case they do something as a tie-in. Then again, the teasers they've put out so far have generally been random. They weren't tied to anything. They were released in the middle of the day, not on their cable channel whatsoever. So I don't know. I'm saying if there is a tie-in, if it might be a random middle-of-the-day released online type of thing. If they do want to tie it in with something, I think they might put out the full trailer next weekend because it's exactly 2 months out, because it's the Westworld premiere, and because they probably have all the footage done because they just had a big official wrap party. Now, I said there are 2 points from this news. That was the first one. The second one is a lot of unannounced cast members were openly posting photos on Instagram. Particularly all of the younger versions of cast members, the younger versions of Rhaenyra and Alicent's children, they were taking group photos and putting them on Instagram. And this is to the point that even though HBO itself hasn't announced it, this is such a prominent leak. I have updated Game of Thrones wiki to just in the cast list go, screw it. They're in such prominent, openly taking selfie things at the wrap party. We know these are cast members. I'm not going to dance around it anymore. So in this photo you see here, we have Evie Allen plays young Helena. Leo Ashton is young Aemond. Leo Hart is young Jake. Shawnee Smethurst is young Bela. And Ava Osai-Gurning is young Rhaenyra. In addition to this, we actually found this out a couple of weeks ago. There's actually 3 different actresses playing Laena Velaryon. That, there's a young Laenor and an adult Laenor, and they announced them both. And it's weird that Theo Nate is credited as young Laenor, and then there's adult Laenor, but they didn't credit adult Laena officially yet. So they just call her Savannah Stain. They just call her Laena. No, Savannah is young Laena, teenage Laena. We are all but certain, and we know that, not in this photo, adult Laena will be played by Swedish actress Nana Blondell, because she said in Swedish media that she is in the cast. We have seen her in spy photos with Daemon, and there's not many other black women who would be in the main cast like that, so it narrows it down that, okay, she's probably Laena. That we're pretty sure Nana Blondell is adult Laena. Savannah Stain has been announced as young, youthful, teenaged, 18-year-old Laena. Turns out there's a third one. Child Laena, who would only appear in episodes 1 and 2. There were photos of this posted through Instagram, played by young actress Nova Fuelis Mose. I think I'm pronouncing that right. That there's photos of her doing costume tests for Laena in a thing labeled Laena Episode 2. We know she's child Laena. I've already told you I worked out, if you see the chart here, I've worked out the time skips of who plays who when. What's happening, that there's a big 10-year time jump between episodes 5 and 6, where we switch from young Rhaenyra and young Alicent to adult Rhaenyra and Alicent, and introduce their small children. So this is like Jake Velaryon will be played by Leo Hart in episodes 6 and 7. All these child actors are really only appearing in 2 episodes, 6 and 7. Because then there's another smaller time skip in episode 8 to the grown-up, teenaged versions of their children. That now Jake Velaryon is played by Harry Collette. Aemon Targaryen is played by Ewan Mitchell by episode 8. So this group photo of kids you see here, they're in episode 6 and 7, but they appear pretty prominently, and it's a big role for child actors like that. Another one that isn't included in this group shot, but which we are certain of, is that young Aegon II will be played by Ty Tennant. Ty Tennant, we know, has joined the cast. He just didn't say, like the adult Laena, he didn't say what he was playing. But back in 2018's Tolkien biopic, both Ty Tennant and Tom Glynn-Carney played the younger and adult versions, respectively, of Tolkien's friend Christopher Wiseman. So casting directors already think that Ty Tennant looks like a younger Tom Glynn-Carney. Now we see Ty Tennant has joined the cast in a mystery role. For God's sake, he's obviously young Aegon II. I'm just openly putting this in the wiki now. I'm not even considering it's something that needs to be confirmed. It's blatant. Why do we need to dance around it? One thing that has been confirmed is he'll actually be played by more than 2 actors. Also, there will be a child Aegon II as well, like around episode 3, because they have, openly, this is on casting sheets, cast 4-year-old Aegon II, played by Jake and Rory Hurd. That when you have really small children, you cast sets of identical twins to play them due to limits to the number of work hours they can do in a day, so they alternate. So there's going to be a child Aegon II as well, but just there was this wrap party, and they're openly posting group shots of Rhaenyra and Alicent's children, the child actors playing them in episode 6 and 7. And it's a guest role essentially, because they're not, like the adult versions are going to be following, but it's still nice to see all of them. So I'm reporting that as news of, oh look, let's stop dancing around it. We know who's in this. If you're asking about the really young people, like I've said before, we've heard that Joff Velaryon and Rhaenyra's sons with Daemon, Aegon III and Viserys II, we've heard they're in it, but they're babies. They're played by toddlers. So also like Aegon II's twins, we've heard are in it as well. But below that point, the really younger people are the toddlers and child actors, so it doesn't really matter who's playing them. We've heard they're in it. And Daeron the Daring, the other Alicent's son, we've heard they'll mention him in dialogue, but he won't actually show up on screen until season 2. It's like how they handled Stannis, because it's like being off in college. He's off squiring to the high towers in Old Town, but they'll mention him. But for season 1, essentially for the Blacks and the Greens, there's 4 children on each side who are speaking roles, substantial speaking roles. That on the side of the Blacks, you have Jake, Luke, Baela, Rhaena. On the side of the Greens, well, actually 3. You have Aegon, Aemond, Helena, and they'll mention Daeron. He shows up later. I mean, even into season 2, the younger children won't really be characters yet. Oh, also another thing, this is weird, that for whatever reason, they didn't announce who's playing Luke Velaryon, even though we have very prominently seen him in spy photos with Harry Collette as Jake Velaryon clearly playing Luke. That when they publicly announced, here's who's playing Aegon II, here's Jake, here's even who's playing Baela and Rhaena, they didn't announce Luke. And maybe it's because he's not recurring as often for obvious reasons. We know he is played by Elliot Greenholt, who actually starred as Harry Potter in that stage play production of the Cursed Child thing for a run of that in England. We know that Elliot Greenholt is Luke Velaryon, and he's not in this photo for some reason, but young Luke is Harvey Sadler. We've also, just through connecting the dots between the different cast members, I also treat that as fact. So the 2 things today are, they leaked out through the wrap party photos, okay, these are the younger versions who appear in episode 6 and 7. Nice to know, just for people who are fans of, really the hardcore fans of this. And wow, there was a giant wrap party. Every rough cut must be done. Other than, guys working at a computer farm, adding in CGI in an office or something, they must be really ready to put out a trailer imminently if they've wrapped on all of their post-production editing. Keep your eyes open. They might drop it randomly in the middle of a day like they did with the teasers. The absolute last opportunity to tie it in with a premiere or finale is Westworld Season 4 premiere this coming Sunday, which is also 2 months out from the premiere of House of the Dragon. There's nothing else. I know I've been saying this since maybe they'll tie it in with Euphoria. Maybe they'll tie it in with The Gilded Age. The absolute last thing this could potentially tie in with, other than, San Diego Comic-Con last week of July. But the last premiere they could tie this in with is this coming Sunday. So all wings check in. Keep checking back frequently to YouTube. I'm going to try to post other videos and other things that I'm playing catch-up with in the meantime. But things are happening pretty soon.